It is finally
time.
You guys have been telling me to check out this piece of equipment literally since I started the channel. And today, I'm finally getting around to it. Because this tube amp snob is checking out the Boss Katana for the first time ever. Let's do it! Alright guys, hope you're doing great out there today. If this is your first time here at my channel, my name is Kyle, and what I do is I take all sorts of awesome high gain related guitar equipment, I record it with a simple SM57 setup, and I give you the unprocessed audio on your end. So if you're into E-stand or thrash riffs, drop C hardcore riffs, and dudes that are currently harboring a substantial amount of lung butter, you're in the right place. Consider hitting the like button and subscribing on the way out so you don't miss any more of my stuff. Thanks! Alright guys, today, it's finally time. You have been asking me to check out the Boss Katana pretty much since I started my channel 3 years ago. If this is your first time around these parts, I am an absolute tube amp fanatic. I love checking out new tube amplifiers. I love digging into the history of them. I love collecting them. I love playing them. I love looking at them. I love smelling them. I just love tube amps. Like, it's why I started my channel in the first place. It's just, they are literally like my favorite things on the planet, except for pizza. So it's pretty natural that people want me to check out solid state amplifiers, because there are a lot of people out there who love solid state amplifiers, some who actually prefer them to tube amplifiers. And when a product comes along that shakes up the market by offering lots of really good features in a lightweight package that actually sounds good according to most people out there on the internet, that thing is going to make waves. And that thing is the Boss Katana. Pretty much ever since this amplifier was released, I've been hearing about it left and right from friends, hearing about it on the internet, and of course once I started the channel, hearing it from the viewers of the channel, because a lot of people think this amplifier gives really good tube amps a strong run for their money. So today I'm actually gonna dig into this amplifier for the very first time and explore some of the tones that this thing can put out there. And I have my friends over at Zounds to thank for this, because they actually provided this amp to me over a year ago, and I'm finally getting around to making a video with it. But this isn't a sponsored video, I'm not getting paid for it, but they did provide the Boss Katana for me so that I could make this video. So if you guys would like to help out my channel and you want to pick up one of these, or you want to pick up any new gear after the video is over, head down to that affiliate link in the description of the video for Zounds.com. If you click that link, it costs you nothing extra, but I actually get a sizable kickback if you buy something. So just wanted to be honest and transparent with you guys, and I very much appreciate anybody who uses that link. But with all that being said, I mean, no, it's not a sponsored video. Feel free to take everything that I have to say with a massive grain of salt. You're more than fair to do so, but just know I'm gonna give you my honest thoughts and opinions, as I always do. So guys, that was the first tone I've ever dialed in on this amplifier. Like, this is legitimately the first time that I've plugged into this thing. And I gotta say, I fully understand the hype now. The thing sounds awesome. I was actually boosting it with a Lichtlärm King and Yellow overdrive, and it was taking the overdrive like really well, something that you don't get from a lot of solid state or a lot of modeling style amplifiers. Now I'm gonna be 100% honest, I don't know anything about the topology of this amp, about the circuitry. I don't really know how it operates. So whether it's a modeler or a solid state amp or analog or whatever, I don't know. I never really looked into them that much because I gotta be 100% honest, I just wasn't interested as somebody who owns tons of tube amps. For me personally, it didn't really serve a purpose, but because you guys wanted me to check it out here on the channel and give you my thoughts on it, I finally got one here. And yeah, right off the bat, I totally understand why so many of you guys were telling me that I needed to check this out. So let's go ahead, let's jump in. I'm gonna dive into the tones. Again, if you're new here, like I don't dig into the features too deeply or anything like that. I'm definitely not gonna get into the onboard effects because I'm not a had to stop myself there. I'm not a weak person. I don't play weak music. But I do play chugs and I play them very, very poorly. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna explain or explore some of the tones and explain them to you as I hear them. That intro clip, I was actually on the brown setting on the amplifier. And again, I had that overdrive engaged. Honestly, that sounds really good to me. It is maybe a little bit on the thin side when you compare it to something like a 5150 or a rectifier or something. But I mean, it's a solid state amp, that's kind of to be expected. And I think that there are ways that we can actually kind of get around that moving forward. But for the intro clip, we were playing through my Mesa 1999 traditional cab with the stock vintage 30s. I'm gonna be using this cab for the remainder of the video. I am playing my Balaguer Typhon here with a Seymour Duncan distortion in the bridge. I have another couple guitars off to the side, so we'll try another guitar or two into this thing and basically see how it reacts to different pickups. But yeah, right off the bat, man, I'm pretty impressed with how this amplifier sounds. As you guys can see, I've got the bass maxed out and I've got the cab resonance on the deep setting. This is basically about as fat and as thick as I can get it to sound with an overdrive in front, but let's turn that overdrive off. Let's see how this amp sounds with no overdrive in front. So it sounds pretty good. We are lacking a little bit of string definition though. Let's get a little bit more mid, a little bit more treble going on, and a little bit more gain. So yeah, I mean, it's fairly tight, fairly punchy. It has a little bit of a soft attack to it overall, which is kind of surprising for a solid state amplifier. But again, man, it does not sound bad. It actually sounds really good. So there is a booster built into this thing. I'm not exactly sure how to operate it, but we'll give it the college try. So that adds a decent amount of saturation. It does sound like the further I turn it up, the fatter the signal gets. So it's probably, to my ears, it sounds less like a tube screamer and more like an actual signal boost. All right, so yeah, let's turn the booster down basically to the point where it's barely on. And let's pull this gain back up a little bit. So yeah, man, it sounds really, really good. The built-in booster does a pretty good job at boosting the overall level of gain and kind of making the feel a little bit like easier to play, I guess, a little bit more fluid. It doesn't sound piss poor, if you know what I mean. I should probably go, but I'm doing this demo, so I have to stay. So yeah, I mean, right off the bat, we are getting very, very usable tones. I would say the biggest shortcomings are it's lacking some like depth to it overall. Some of those like real low frequencies that kind of fill out not only the lows, but the low mids. And then also on top of that, it is not the clearest amp in the world. Like it is lacking some string clarity when you compare it to some, you know, I guess not even like nicer tube amplifiers, like most tube amplifiers. It's a little bit on the muddy side, but it sounds good. So with that said, let's go ahead and let's press the variation button because I don't know what that is. Okay, so, all right, so it seems like this model has two different types of sounds. This one sounds a little bit flatter. It is a little fatter. It's got maybe a little bit more low end. Let's try hitting that with the boost again. Yeah, again, this variation sounds really good too. Let's turn that boost off though. Let's try the lead tone. I am very obviously not a lead player, but yeah, it, you know, it's doing the thing. It's not amazing. Let's turn that boost on again. So this setting seems a little looser, maybe a little chewier, I guess you could say, on the low end. It's not quite as tight and percussive. Let's turn that booster off. Let's turn the variation switch on. All right, so that seems maybe a little bit more mid-scooped, a little brighter up top. Let's turn the treble back. On the muddy side. Let's actually hit it with an overdrive again though. So, it's taking the overdrive well, but one thing that I've noticed about this amp is that the higher frequencies, both the treble and the presence they are very quick to get harsh and unpleasant sounding on the ears. So I've kind of just been having a hard time balancing out to the point where the treble is like bright enough for my personal taste. I do like brighter tones. I'm used to a PV5150. I like where the treble and the presence frequencies are on amplifiers like those. They're similar on this amp, but they are a little bit spikier in the harsher frequencies, especially with this treble control here. So it's been a little difficult for me to get the brightness where I want, and I think that having to pull the treble back that much is one of the reasons why there's not as much string clarity as I might like personally. So let's go the other way with it though. Let's pull the presence back and let's try to dial the treble up. Let's head on over to the crunch setting. Let's grab a guitar with lower output pickups real quick. All right, guys, I have my PRS SE McCarty 594 single cut. This has like a PAF style pickup in it. We're still on that crunch setting. I do like how open this pickup and this guitar sounds on this setting. Let's hit that variation button. So it sounds okay, I don't like it as much, but let's kick in a Boss SD1. That really brings out the mids, but again, we've got the bass cranked. We're on that deep section for the cab resonance, so I mean, it's just not giving me enough low end. Let's try the modern. Let's take this guitar and let's go back to that brown setting because that was a lot of fun. Let's kick in the variation. All right, guys, so I bumped the channel volume up and pulled the master volume back, so we're about the same volume level, but it does seem to have affected the sound of the amp a little bit, so here is like a scooped out Metallica type tone. All right, so I actually think I dig it more with the master volume rolled down a little bit. Let's pull those mids back up though. Let's pull the treble back. All right, so all that was with the Boss SD1 engaged, which actually is working really well with the amp. But let's try that Lichtlärm King in Yellow again. Man, if this amp seriously had just a little bit more low end, like it would be hands down by far and away the absolute best budget like piece of gear that you could pick up. I think these things are what, under $300 for the 50 watt head. This is the Mark II 50 watt head, 300-ish dollars. Like, it sounds really good. It sounds really good. Good enough for my voice to crack. But I think that we need to actually check this thing out in a lower tuning and test that out real quick. All right, guys, so I have my Gallagher Espada Select here with the Hypernova pickup in the bridge. This is like a modern hot ceramic pickup. We are in drop C and I'm still using the Lichtlärm, still on the brown setting. Let's see if we can get a nasty hardcore tone out of this. Okay, dude, I'm sold on this thing. That was awesome. Like, that was such a good drop C hardcore tone. One thing I wanted to know, I was even a little low on the gain. As far as saturation, there's still plenty of gain to go on this amp, so don't think that it doesn't have the gain. It's got way more than enough. Man, I'm super impressed with this, and again, with something like a 10-band EQ in the loop, I think you could get everything out of it that it might be missing for your personal taste. String clarity, still not amazing, but the amp sounds good, dude. I'm impressed. Last but not least, let's go really low. All right, so I've got my Gallagher Espada baritone, 27-inch baritone standard, tuned to drop A, still boosting it with the Boss SD1. We are still on the brown setting, the brown sound setting, the brown setting. With the red variation, we have it dialed in, as you guys see here. Yeah, this amp is awesome. Of course, there are some goofy frequencies in there that, I don't know, man. It's almost like they're inherent to solid state amplifiers. This definitely has a solid state sound to it, so the people out there who've been commenting on the videos, you know who you are, who say that their Boss Katana sounds just like a tube amp. No, but does that mean that it sounds bad? Absolutely not. Huge thanks again to my friends over at Zounds for providing this Boss Katana in order for me to make this video for you guys. Again, affiliate links in the description. Those go a massively long way to helping my channel. It helps me be able to afford the stuff that I make these videos for you with. Can't wait to see what you guys have to say about this amplifier. Thank you so much as always for watching. Kyle here again. We'll see you next time.
You know what this wall is missing? Another amp. There we go.